everyone, and welcome to After the Impact. Good of you all to join us. I know it's kind of late, and we're glad that you can be with us here for the after show of what was a very, very big Impact show, in my estimation. And from what we saw tonight, it was a really, really fun show. Lots of stuff going on, and we'll talk about some of it tonight, of course. So welcome in to. Of course, Conrad is here with us as well. So let me see who's here so far. We got Wally back in. We got Azan. We've got Jen. We've got Heather. And we've got James as well. So welcome to all of those who have joined us and all those who will. Chad Schrader's back here too. Give us your scores. What did you think of tonight's show? Let us know what your scores are out of 10. I must be either blind or dumb. Why does everyone suspect Eddie of defecting? What am I missing here? Yeah, that talk is going around. I don't really know either, Heather, so you're not the only one. Chad says, I gave Impact a 9 out of 10. Loved the hardcore country Mickie James speech on the podcast as always. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Chad. Mark's here as well. Heather says 7.75 out of 10. Yeah, keep the scores coming in. Let us know what you thought. And I guess we'll start there too. So, Jeff, I'll go to you first. James says 9 out of 10. What are you scoring tonight's Impact show?
Something that I said came true. I'm giving it a 9. That was a great way to start the show off. And it was just a strong show throughout the night. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah. Jeff's prediction from many, many, many months ago came to pass with God at the beginning of the show. So, yeah, it was a very cool way to start the show. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Other than Jeff. Deanna says 7.5. Azan says 9. Sean says 9. Hello, Greg says 7. Hello, Sean. Chad says plus Tazzy's wife Tasha yelling boo. Yeah, that's funny. Dan Lambert, yeah, of course, Dan Lambert being there as well. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff went on tonight, man. A lot of crazy stuff. Would have scored higher, but not happy about Saban's losses, Heather. I'm going to say Jeff gave it a 9. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 9. I think 9's solid. The show was good throughout. Lots of surprises. The GOD thing right off the bat, seeing those guys show up was awesome. And, of course, challenging the Good Brothers. Going down the line, of course, yes, the Mickie James thing. Like I said, I wasn't really sure what that was going to be, but obviously she came out, was very gracious, thanked all the people for what they've done, including the champions. Deonna Purrazzo wasn't happy with any of it, of course, and Mickie kind of embarrassed her a little bit, and Deonna left. So put a pin in that too, because I just came up with a little bit of an idea with that. So I'll come back to that. The Dan Lambert thing, when Jonah was out there wrestling Johnny Swinger, which we kind of thought was just going to be a throwaway match. It was almost like, why is he with Swinger, other than the fact they had that little confrontation in the hallway? And then all of a sudden, Dan Lambert's in the audience as well. And that was crazy too, because we didn't know. We thought they were done. There was not going to be any more relationship between them and AEW. So a little bit of craziness there. And then, of course, the Ring of Honor and the Impact stuff continues. They had that big match tonight with Saban and PCO. PCO gets the win, but Impact stood tall at the end. And, of course, now that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a match that we're going to see. So going to be very, very cool to see that as well. Let's see. I'm not going to be watching those anymore because I look at spoilers. Well, as long as you can be, but that's totally up to you. You're obviously, we're not going to have you giving away anything. So if that's, if you feel like you can't be without giving away spoilers, then yeah, that I would agree with you. I give it a 9 out of 10, but overall, I feel like this episode was announcement centric, and the announcents, I gave them a 10 out of 10. I don't know either about Tasha jumping the line. Heather says about Tasha just jumping the line on Tasha. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what you mean. Conrad, what'd you score the show?
I'm going to give it the same thing I gave Dynamite last night, 8 out of 10. Okay. For me, I thought this was a really good show. Lots of good things to lead up. Lots of things to be excited for as far as future of Impact Television and what they're doing. And there's a lot of mystery, which is kind of one of my favorite things. This could be, sometimes it leads you to disappointment, but the mystery part, like the journey is always the best part of getting to wherever the destination is. So this is fun right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, we were saying this throughout the show too. It's just the way that wrestling has been lately, and we've only started this year, which really makes for a positive vibe going forward on what the rest of this year could be like. Because we've just gotten started. We're still in January, and it seems like we've seen a ton already. And it just seems like every company seems to want to be getting better, things happening, surprises just coming out of nowhere, like Danhausen last night. It just seems like, and maybe what they're saying, and some of the veterans of the business have been saying this: competition creates a better product. And maybe that's really what it is. Maybe they're just all getting out there and saying, you know what, we're just going to bump up our game. And what's that going to do? It's going to make wrestling fans very happy. So, yeah, absolutely. All right. So, let's get to some, let's just do it this way. So, biggest takeaway from the night for both of you guys. And then I want to go to what Mickie, we'll save the thing with Mickie for the end because we've got the Rumble coming right up. So we'll save the thoughts for that for last. So what were the biggest takeaways to both of you guys? I'll start with you, Conrad. What's your two biggest things that you took away from tonight, and what are you most excited about now with Impact going forward?
Interesting. Right now, I would like to say I'm going to go overall kind of things more so than anything else. Anything and everything can happen right now in Impact Wrestling. I think they are trying to establish themselves as the number 3. I know there was lots of talk. Is it GCW? Is it Impact? Is it MLW?
Yeah.
And I think Impact is trying to plant their flag and let people know we're the number 3. We've got a lot of stuff happening. And you saw stuff with New Japan Pro Wrestling. You saw stuff with possibly AEW tonight. You saw more stuff. You saw them promoting New Japan as well. I forgot to even think about that.
Yeah.
You have stuff with the Royal Rumble happening. Like, basically, there's nothing off the table with Impact Wrestling. If they think it's going to make them better, they are willing to do it. And I love that. And the other thing, and Ring of Honor, how could I forget? Honor No More. Like they have a Ring of Honor group who have gone rogue, but there is no Ring of Honor, or is there? And there's announcements coming with that stuff. Very interesting to see how all of wrestling is working together, and I love it. So overall, anything can happen in Impact Wrestling. And the other thing I'll take away is really the number 3 comment that I made. They are establishing themselves as a place to where people are going to want to go. I don't view Impact the same way I did even, I would say, a year or 2 ago when Rich Swann was champion. This is a completely different company now, and I really want people to listen to me. Like, I'm not saying this to, let's get more people to watch Impact. No, I'm telling you, like, you're missing out if you're not watching this. They have very good storylines week to week. Moose said it. They can compete with AEW and WWE as the most enjoyable program. Joe and Jeff watch a lot of pro wrestling. I think you could trust their opinions too. Impact's not that bad, bro. I'm telling you, sometimes they may be the best show of the week. You guys have to watch and stay invested with it, though, because there's long-term payoffs. Just like Jeff brought up with the Gorillas of Destiny. He called that a long time ago.
Yep. But
it took a while to pay off. Yeah. Off my soapbox.
Hey, listen, we appreciate it. And sometimes what this company does well a lot is their storylines, the progression of their storylines. And it could be because of the way that they tape their shows and things like that. Maybe, because they have a lot of this maybe worked out ahead of time, but whichever, it doesn't matter. It's very entertaining. They stay with this stuff. And then, like Conrad said, sometimes you don't get the payoff right away, but you know what? That's how wrestling used to be. You don't get a payoff every single month. The storyline ends and it goes to something else. It doesn't always happen that way. And listen, I'm cool with that. And I totally agree with everything Conrad just said. This is my personal favorite show to watch every single week. It's my personal favorite show now. And I can go on with second and third, but this is my favorite show to watch. And it's exciting for me to see them getting the attention that they are. Like he said with the thing with New Japan, I mean, the New Japan show is going to be on after Impact on a weekly basis at 10 o'clock. They're showing it now. Obviously, the old content. I know they had Kenny Omega and Jericho last week, so they're showing some of the reboot stuff soon. So they've got that working for them. The AEW connection now, the WWE connection now, and yeah, I mean, hey, you can like what you want, whether you like GCW, MLW, whatever it is, but they are really, I agree with Conrad, they are really trying to get to be that third show that everybody has to see. They're making it a must-see show. Impact is definitely more consistent. I'll say that it's working out. If working out ahead makes a better show, keep it up. Long-term stories, invest me into it. Good Brothers and VBD might take over Impact. MLW as Tekka stuff is good, says Conrad. Like it's an invasion from different wrestling companies. Classic New Japan, loving this. MLW has been great. Jeff, what about you? What are your takeaways?
Yeah. I want to see what ends up happening with the Bullet Club. That's something I want to see, who ends up going against who in that, and how does it all how does it all shake out? I know the end result that we want to see is God against the Good Brothers. That's what we want to see. That's what we've been waiting for. How do we get there? When is it going to happen? Could it happen at Rebellion? The fact that that's a possibility and I'm going makes me a very happy person right now. Just saying, I didn't know that was even a possibility. The stuff in the Knockouts division, like, there's just so many things happening right now in the Knockouts division. I'm very interested to see what happens with Tasha and Mickie. I want to see that match.
Yep.
But then all this stuff with Chelsea and Mickie.
Yep.
I can tell you what it looks like. And Conrad, we mentioned it in the private chat. I don't want to spoil anything either. I just think just watch that story, because not all gestures are sincere, and sometimes there's an ulterior motive, and I'll just leave it at that. And then obviously the stuff with Honor No More and Team Impact. What's going to happen with that? Obviously we've heard that certain people have signed with the Impact, and that is what it is. But the journey, like Conrad said, seeing how we get there, that's what I'm interested in.
Absolutely. And I've said this before on Twitter, their Knockouts division, and I'll say this all day and twice on Tuesday, is the best women's division out there. I don't think it's bar none anymore. It just keeps getting better. They're going to add, they're adding more to it. They have phenomenal athletes there already, whether it be some of the younger ones like Masha Slamovich coming up, Lady Frost as well, to some of the veterans that have been around. Listen, their Knockouts division could take on anyone. So the Chelsea thing is really interesting now, and I didn't know. Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil it either because it's really cool. But yeah, that's really, really interesting. Really interesting. I like it a lot. So yeah, keep your eyes on that. Giselle, yes, thank you. So Giselle from Women of Wrestling is coming aboard now too. Oh man, it just keeps getting better. And they are not afraid to spotlight those women. No. They are not afraid. They will main event them. They had them in an X Division match. They are not afraid to spotlight them, and that is awesome. That is awesome. So, all right. So for me, seeing God was awesome. I know Jeff had been mentioning it for like Conrad said, many months. and to finally get a payoff from that. And just in kind of a random way. You didn't, a lot of times we were expecting them in the pay-per-view. They're going to come in, they're going to show up here. Everybody's waiting. Sometimes the Bullet Club had a main event match, and we'd be waiting at the end. Are they going to show up now? They're going to show up now. And they show up in this small little match, this Chris Bay, Jake something match. And they show up there, which is cool because people didn't see it coming. Now, if you read the spoilers, yeah, you did. And this is why I would say don't spoil yourself. Why wouldn't you want the joy of being able to kind of mark out at something like we did and be like, oh, that's amazing. Like, why would you want to spoil that? Why would you want to spoil it for yourselves? But yeah, that was amazing. Again, amazing for me because I don't watch a lot of New Japan and haven't. Now I will because now it's on cable. I could just watch it right after Impact is over. So I'll get more in touch with that. But, that's awesome. We got a payoff after months and months and months and months. And now them going after the Good Brothers. Whew, man, amazing. The Ring of Honor stuff. I mean, I think it's pretty safe bet to say that because Ring of Honor is not starting back up until April. So I think it's pretty safe bet to say that Ring of Honor is going to win that match. And maybe somebody else comes out of the woodwork to help them win that match. Now, they keep pointing out that they're different, that those 5 are different. And Scott D'Amore even said, Jonathan Gresham represents Ring of Honor. What if Gresham turns too? And what if he does something too? So there's a lot to come from that. But I think they're going to end up winning. They're going to stick around because this is probably going to play right up until, and like Jeff said, could it be Rebellion? We got that little symbol that we had the Omega symbol in last year. This year has a question mark. So again, the little things.
Here's a question for you on your Ring of Honor. How right now the numbers don't match up, right?
Yep.
How many people would you say Ring of Honor is short? No more honor. Honor no more. How many people short are they? Like 3?
I would say 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that knows me knows when it comes to Ring of Honor, there's a group. STP, that's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
That they could go up and even up the odds.
I know who you're talking about too.
Yep. Shane Taylor Promotions, baby.
And I'll say this as well. The whole Eddie Edwards turning thing, I'll explain. I think a lot of people are referencing back to he was an ROH original technically.
Yep.
He was a Ring of Honor champion. He came there with someone else. Initials are DR. He's not a doctor though. And I know he signed a deal somewhere else, but we don't know the contents of that deal. And maybe he shows up. It could make things interesting.
Yeah, could very well. And the thing with Dan Lambert, I mean, obviously, he was out there to watch Jonah. So we know Jonah's not, his contract is up pretty soon. So was he recruiting him to be in his group? It certainly would fit the mold. So was that just what that is? Is there something else going on there? And then we may as well just transition right into it. So the Rumble is in 2 days. Mickie James came out and she talked about some things with the Knockouts division first, had a little confrontation with Deanna that didn't go very well. And then she got into it about the Rumble. In case you didn't see the show, I'm sure most of you are here from there, but in case you didn't see it or you're listening to it and you didn't see the show, Mickie came out and said, obviously she's taking the Impact title there. And what if she were to win and be able to bring the Knockouts Championship to WrestleMania and go title for title with whoever she chooses? That was another wow moment. Now, nothing on social media. I did check. So there's nothing from her about it. Nothing from Impact about it either. In their little blurbs about it, they did not mention it. So there's that. Here's my quick thing, and I'll let you two guys finish it off, and we'll talk about this a little bit because the Rumble's coming up. But here's my thing now too that I kind of just thought of when I was in the little break. What if Deonna shows up at the Rumble? How she dismissed Deonna Purrazzo and kind of embarrassed her a little bit. What if Deonna causes Mickie to get dumped out of that ring and destroys her dream of winning the Rumble match? So what if it's Deonna that causes that? Now, obviously, Deonna already has 2 belts. So does she end up the 3 belt eventually? We know that Mickey's got a match, so that wouldn't be for a little bit. But what if Deonna shows up there? Deonna was in WWE, so it wouldn't be completely out of line. So maybe that's what we get instead of Mickie shocking the world and actually winning. Maybe Deonna shows up and prevents her from winning. So, Jeff and Conrad, how do you think this is? How do you think this is going to play itself out? We did our predictions. Conrad, did you do your predictions yet, or you're in the process?
Yeah, I did them.
Okay. So if you haven't watched it, both our prediction videos are out there. We did ours last night. Conrad did his, so go check them out for the Rumble. Of course, obviously, this was before we heard all this. So, Conrad, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think this plays out?
For the record, mine is audio only. Trying to get those audio listens up. Nice. But it's a short one. But with the women's Rumble, so I'm going to first touch on Mickie James and the whole ordeal with what she said tonight. Mickie did an incredible job at building herself up as someone who could win. And that's what you're supposed to do no matter what. Like, I don't care if you're the Barbarian and you're in a Royal Rumble, you need to say, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble tonight, just because. Whether you're Haku, the Brooklyn Brawler, it doesn't matter. Say you're going to win the Rumble, because then it shows that everybody cares about it. Yeah. Mickie did a hell of a job, I think, selling. What if I'm in the main event of WrestleMania and I bring this title over there? And it's getting people searching Impact Wrestling. Yep. Impact are no fools when it comes to this. They knew. Mention that she's the champion on television, and we'll be happy with that. That got people talking. Pat McAfee mentioned she was the Impact Knockouts champion. That's a big deal, because normally they wouldn't even acknowledge it. They would just say, Mickie James is in the Royal Rumble. Yep. Cool. It's got people searching. Do I think Mickie is going to win? No. I would like to hope, but I'm also a believer in that they're going to do the right thing for storyline purposes still. I don't know what's going to happen in this. I have no clue. I picked Bianca to win. I don't know, though, what's going to happen. Since I made my predictions, Ronda Rousey's been teased. Yep. We've been hearing other names. And you brought up Deonna Purrazzo. I said that name as well in the beginning. Like, I think Deonna could be someone who gets involved in this as well. But Deonna's kind of got a pass where she's not feeling it. But you know who I think could show up? Chelsea Green just got introduced to this storyline. And I would not be surprised if Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona show up in WWE. Why? They've been everywhere. GCW, NWA, Ring of Honor. They're everywhere, these two. Why not go get a payday from good old Vince and say, hey, what, you've been seeing my new stuff? You like it? You want to push me now, maybe? I'm sure he would go back in a heartbeat if they said, yeah, we could use you again. Just how he is. But I'm interested to hear what Jeff thinks.
Yep. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think it's interesting because obviously she's going to sell it to the people that are there. Because maybe the fans that are there weren't going to watch the Rumble, but now that she's in it,
yep.
Maybe you have that, that group of fans that say, you know what, I'm just watching Impact. I'm not watching the Rumble. I don't watch anything outside of this. Now you got people interested. And then vice versa. Now you have other people saying, oh, Mickie James, she used to be there. How's this going to go? Because of how things ended. They're interested. They're intrigued. I think for Mickie, do I think she'll win it? I don't think she'll win it. I wouldn't be surprised to see her as one of the final four. when it, one of the final four, maybe final five people left in the match. And I think it's very interesting that Conrad brings up Chelsea. I think that's very, very interesting because anything can happen. And again, um, I would like to see where they allow this to go, because if you really wanted to do something cool, I don't think it's coincidence or just matter of fact that Mickie James has mentioned she wants a match with Charlotte Flair. I don't think that's just, you just throw that out there. I think there's something special that's going to happen, but just watch out for Chelsea. Or, maybe Chelsea tries to help Mickie, but in helping her, she cost her. Just kind of keep an eye on some of that. I don't think it'll be as helpful as she thinks, but yeah, I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited because there's so many possibilities and so many different things that can happen. So yeah, I'm excited. I actually just turned on I just picked a random Royal Rumble on Peacock. I just picked it because I'm in that mood right now where I want to get more excited than I already am. So
Yeah, that's a great segue, and we love segues. We will be here for all of it. So don't forget to come out on Saturday. The show starts at 7:45, and we'll be here for the whole thing. So Royal Rumble is this coming Saturday, where these questions will be answered and a lot more. What people are thinking and what is going to happen, we will see. J-Hub says it would not be a shock if this does happen with Mickie. WWE did stuff like this in the past. They let Taz go back to ECW and win the world title and bring it to WWE. Has Alexa been announced? No, Alexa has not been announced for the match. RK Shuttlesworth, I hope WWE actually does do something interesting with this. Otherwise, we'll be dropping the ball. There are 8 people not announced for both sides. 8 people on the men's side, 8 people on the women's side. Yes. Charlotte's ego is huge. She wouldn't let that go down. I don't know, Heather. I get that. But Charlotte's also, I think, at the point in her career where I've been there, I've done that. Give me something new. What haven't I conquered? What haven't I done? I don't think she'd be opposed to it because it's something new and it's something that hasn't been done. So she again would be a pioneer. Go ahead.
And Mickey's a legend.
Yep.
I think Charlotte or anyone worth anything in that women's division in any company. I mean, look at how many people jumped at the opportunity for Empower. I think anyone would be more than willing to say, you know what, put me in a storyline with Mickie James.
Yep.
If we really want to be honest right now, maybe I'm wrong. Who's storyline wise, who's the hottest women's wrestler in professional wrestling right now? I don't think you could go too far before you got to Mickie James. Like, if you really just took every single company, looked at the storylines, looked at how things have gone over the last 6 to 8 months, I don't think you can go too far without getting to Mickie James pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because regardless of who you like, you have to look at some of these storylines that have been they've been a little up and down. WWE with the Becky and the thing with her and with Liv, now that's kind of over and pushed to the side. Now it was with Doudrop, which I hate that name still, and so that's kind of all been swirling around. Charlotte hasn't been really involved with anyone the last couple of months. You look at AEW with Britt and Jade Cargill, of course. She may be a little bit hotter maybe than Britt is right now. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And listen, Deonna was on everybody's list of a top 10 wrestler, Impact's Wrestler of the Year last year, and Mickie has beaten her twice. So that's a good point. Really good point. Even though she may not win it, could James still go to Mania? Well, I said that, Mark. Maybe. That all depends on, like I said, as of right now, Charlotte doesn't have an opponent. So maybe. If that's the case, Charlotte would squash her. Empower wasn't that long ago. I love Mickie, but I don't trust WWE. I don't know, Heather. I was off that bandwagon for a little while myself, about 4 months ago, and I made it very clear. I'm back, and I'm excited. And we all mentioned that. We are excited for Saturday. And probably, Conrad asked it on the other show, probably more excited than we have been for a WWE show in quite a while. Quite a while. Because of the up in the air things and the things we just don't know and the cool things that are kind of swirling around out there. So, I don't know. Maybe they're turning the corner. And again, you heard that here with Jeff. Jeff mentioned it, that keep an eye on them in January because you may start to see things start to change. Maybe that's what we get. We will find out. It's only 2 days away. So official Impact Wrestling is killing it. Great production show is so crisp and clear. Said official Little Silver. Oh, we don't hear that much about the production. There you go. I can't disagree with you, Little Silver. We absolutely love the show, and that's why we're here. Well, there you go, guys. Thank you for joining us for After the Impact. We're here every Thursday night at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time for the Impact show itself, and then we come back here to kind of do what we're doing. We discuss some things about the show that we saw and stuff that we thought should be talked about going forward. So tomorrow night, nothing from us, but go and join Tazzy for the SmackDown watch along that he's doing tomorrow night. I think it's his first one. So go check that out. It's the go home show for the Royal Rumble. And then at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, we will be right here for the Royal Rumble when all these questions will be answered one way or another. So that's it, guys. We thank Conrad for joining us tonight. Obviously, as always, we, of course, Jeff, and from myself, we hope to see you all on Saturday night for what should really be a fun and interesting Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Friday, and hopefully we will see you all at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time for the Royal Rumble. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. And hopefully we'll see you all Saturday. Good night, everybody.